is traditional people in America, we like to see returns. We're so used to, and I'm guilty, guilty. Add me to the list. I'm guilty. We're so used to wanting to see returns compounded year after year after year. Then when we have an anomaly year like 2022 come along, what we try to do is figure it all out before it's all happened and say, where's the best thing to invest in with everything that you expect to happen? Where's the best thing that we can invest in so we can get some return this year? I actually had a client, that was coming on board from another advisory say that to me. And, it was it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm thinking, sometimes you guys, sometimes in life, there are times where the best thing you can do is preserve and protect and not try in any capacity to get upside, but to preserve and protect. And I think that 2022 is a sea change year. And I was saying to Shannon on my team, she's an excellent advisor that we have with the firm. I was saying to Shannon, I was like, Shannon, it seems like 2022 right now because we're in the midst of it and we're watching everything globally happen and all of the developments. And it is massive. I mean, it is just so massive. And when you're in the middle of it, it almost feels like slow motion. Everything's going so slowly. And you just are like, my gosh, is it going to go any slower? Is it going to take any longer? How long can this keep going like this? But I told her, I said, when we look back in 2023, we're going to look back and see everything that happened. And we are going to be shocked at how fast this happens. At how fast this all changes. It's going to be shocking. And the other thing that I know that is going to happen next year is you're going to have a ton of Americans, and this is sad, this is not good. You're going to have a ton of Americans that were not given complete advice, that stayed the course, that rode through it because they had a 20-year plus investment horizon. And so they stayed in as their advisor recommended, as most advisors recommend, because it's really impossible to time the markets. I'm not saying that advisors are wrong about that. They're not wrong about that. It is impossible for us to know the future and time the markets. So we should not be market timers. We should have a long-term approach always. But when you're really close to retirement, 10, 15 years out from retirement, and you look at the last organic loss and recovery that has occurred in the United States, which was the dot-com crash of 2000. That's how long it's been. We're in 2022, and we have not had an organic recovery that we just slogged through organically without the central bank Fed propping us up, because they have propped us up since 2008 with some kind of stimulus. Low interest rate policy is a Fed reserve policy. Stimulus, Fed reserve policy. Now we're flipping to the opposite, which is raising rates at an aggressively the fastest pace that's ever been on record. And second, combining that with very fast quantitative tightening. I am talking about more QT monthly than the stimulus that we had during the heat, the top of Corona. So sometimes, we're going to have a lot of Americans in 2023 look back at their advisors and say, how could you not have known that this was coming? Because the world was burning all around and you just told me to stay in. There are some times in life, based on the circumstances, where it is appropriate to switch your mentality from where can I put my money to grow this year, especially because I want to fight inflation. That is such an urge that we have to get growth and fight inflation. And it's a natural urge and it's a correct urge. But there are times, globally speaking, where we are going through a change in the system of the earth. And in those times, the name of the game is protection and preservation, way before we can talk about growth and opportunity.